everybody, and welcome back to my room and to my channel. So today we're finally doing the long-awaited vinyl show and tell. There is a bird going crazy outside, and I think it's kind of sweet, so hopefully it doesn't bother you guys too much. But anyway, got a lot of vinyls here to show you, and I have more, honestly, that I'm not going to show today, just because it would be way too long of a video, but maybe I'll do a part two. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. A lot of this is like indie albums and stuff like that, so maybe we share the same taste. And maybe you can find some albums that you haven't heard of before. Music is a big deal for me. I love music. And I can talk about certain artists forever. So I'm probably gonna do that now. Anyway, so let's get into it. The first one I've got here is just kind of happened to be in front, but it is a very important one if you're gonna understand me. And that one I got kind of recently, maybe as like the last couple years. I obtained the vinyl for it. Someone once corrected me on the difference between like a vinyl and a record. So apologies if I'm like saying stuff wrong, but anyway, let me grab it. Alright, so the first one I have here is Maggie Rogers, Now That the Light is Fading. This one is very important because obviously I've talked about her before. I love Maggie Rogers, and Now That the Light is Fading is like technically her first album. I actually got this one when I was visiting my friend in San Diego. This one has a lot of my favorite songs of hers, and I think it's kind of quintessential listening. You can see me in the reflection. I've always loved the album cover art for this one. It's very Maggie. I have all of Maggie's albums, and I'm pretty sure I do. I showed you the Love You for a Long Time record, I think, is if it's like the single one. So some of them are in the plastic still, and some of them aren't. I don't know, some of them I wanted to keep like pristine. And this is definitely one of them. I think this was like 2017 maybe that this came out, but I was put this down. I was definitely listening to Maggie on like SoundCloud. I don't know if her stuff was out on streaming or not at that time, but this was before she was kind of a viral video with Pharrell, kind of, so like quote unquote discovering her in her NYU class. He did discover her technically, and yeah, I really love Maggie. I think she's a great writer, and I've seen her a few times in concert, and she has a great stage presence and stuff. I'd say my favorite songs of hers are probably Um, God, I have so many. I mean, like, all-time favorite of hers might be "Love You for a Long Time," and then "If Now Is Then" is really good, and "Dog Years" is amazing. All of her music is great. So that's the first album, but the songs aren't from this album, except "Dog Years" is on that album. Anyway, let's get to the next one. This next one I have here is another really special one to me. And this is Beach House's "Bloom." This one I've had for quite some time now. It's got these glow in the dark spots on the cover. Now, Beach House has a very special place in my heart. They've been around for a very long, long time, and I started listening to them like in probably 2016. This album is very special because this was definitely, if I had to sum up my high school years in an album, it was definitely this one. I think my favorite song off of here is Lazuli. I was shocked when I got to the final part of Bloom and Rage, and both times I heard Beach House from this album. And I actually think I have a theory that the people who made the music for the game took inspiration from Lazuli, because if you listen in the background of one of their songs, you can hear like kind of almost like a sample of Lazuli. All the songs on here are amazing, even like the slower ones towards the end of it. On the Sea and Irene are great. But I think Myth and Lazuli are the ones that probably get the most hype, or you might hear the most of. But like I said, Beach House has been around for quite some time now. I'd say like since 2007, maybe their first album came out. So yeah, Beach House is very important. I started listening to Beach House, like I said, in high school, 2016, and I don't know if you guys watched it, but the OA had come out. That Netflix show had come out that year, and that is when I heard a Beach House song for the first time, and from then on I was obsessed. And I would listen to them a lot after that. I believe the song in the show was from that. No, it was from an album maybe after that Bloom album came out. I don't remember for sure, but I think it was called All Your Yas. I think that was the one that was in that show. But yeah, that show introduced me to Beach House. So I'm totally like that kind of guy that feels like I want to like say like, oh, I knew that artist before they were like a big thing, but I can't say that about Beach House because they've been around for so long. But that doesn't mean they don't have a special place in my heart, I am gonna show you some more albums. the next one that I have here is one that's actually kind of relevant today, because I am filming this the night that Ethel Cain releases her newest single from her upcoming album, and so it's relevant because I have this one that I just bought. This is Preacher's Daughter. I talked about Ethel Cain on here before, but it was just in one of my roleplay videos. I just made a joke, but really, I have fallen in love with Ethel Cain's music, and Ethel herself. I say it in quotes because that's not their name, actually. So if you don't know who Ethel Cain is, which I assume most of you do, but Ethel Cain is there's a bug on me. Ethel Cain is a character basically made up by Hayden Antonia. I think that's how you say their name. And they created this kind of personality for their music career. And this character is a character that you kind of follow through this album. You can see Ethel kind of sat here in this room. This album art is just iconic. I definitely think I love all of the songs on this album, but I would have to say that if I had to pick a favorite, I might pick Sunbleached Flies or Stranger. It's called Strangers. Those ones are really pretty. And obviously American Teenager is great, but I think those two just have a different, I think American Teenager is probably the most pop kind of song that Hayden has ever made, Ethel Cain has ever made. And yeah, I think there's just something to be said about somebody who, this is actual, indie. I think nowadays there's a lot of people who kind of misunderstand what indie means, and it doesn't necessarily mean that a certain sound. It means you're completely independent from a big studio, which people who have had that label have typically had that sound, I guess, in the past. But as time goes on, we start to get a lot of what people call industry plants, and so they think they're indie, or you think they're indie, but they're really not. So I've kind of lost that term, what that means. But yeah, so I haven't taken this one out of the plastic either. I don't think I ever am going to, so yeah, that is Preacher's Daughter. The album itself is something so amazing because it's not just an amazing album, it's a whole story, which I think, or I should say, it's not just an amazing music, it's a whole story about a girl who is the daughter of a preacher, and I think Hayden said it's a kind of a mash of all of the things that, she was told would go wrong with her, or to be afraid of, when she was growing up. And yeah, I think that you can, if you listen, you can kind of hear that in the album itself. for sure, but it follows, her whole life, and I'm pretty sure her whole life. And I won't. I want you guys, if you haven't listened to it or delved into it yourself, to experience it. But it's amazing. So go listen to it if you haven't. And I guess stream Nettles if it's out by now. And let's move on to our next one. Okay, so the one that I have here is another Maggie Rogers album. This one is called Don't Forget Me. Also, this couch that I have in here was the couch that was in my room before. I just moved it in here to have something to sit on. And I actually kind of hate it because it makes sounds. Like, you cannot move without it making a sound, so just excuse if you hear that. I'm gonna beg for you to excuse it. But anyway, this is Maggie Rogers, Don't Forget Me. She's looking at me. She's pretending she does not see it. So this album is one of my favorite albums of all time. I really think this is a piece of me. I love this album so much. I have so many favorite songs. I love the cover art and the colors and the aesthetics of this album, but the music is obviously what I'm listening for too. I'm a sucker for aesthetics because I draw and stuff, so visual stuff is always going to pique my interest. But her music, her artistry, her storytelling is amazing. So yeah, so Don't Forget Me is definitely one of my favorites. This, I do feel like the cover is supposed to be inspired by Joni Mitchell's Blue, which I think I didn't bring it with me, but that is one of them. I'm gonna have to charge my camera, so hold on. But yeah, so I would say that this Maggie album is definitely one of my favorite albums of all time. I don't remember what I was talking about before because I had to switch my battery out, but I feel like my favorite songs off of this album are If Now Was Then. What's the first one called? It Was Coming All Along. God, I have so many favorites. Just the whole album. Let's just say the whole album. I love all of the songs on it. I can't pick. I saw her in concert, and I brought my mom because I've been wanting to try to get her into Maggie for a while, and she kind of was following her, just based on some of her style and stuff. My mom liked her style, but I want to get her into her music and see her live because I thought she'd like her because she has so much personality and stage presence. And so I got her tickets for her birthday, and she had so much fun. I feel like that was probably one of my favorite nights I've ever had. Just because I got to have fun with my mom, and I drank a massive beer, and was I was kind of not, I wouldn't say I was not aware for the whole concert, but it definitely was hard for me to remember stuff because of how much of that beer I had, because they give you a massive can. I told my mom, I was like, I don't remember what I said. I said something about the beer. I said if I go unconscious from drinking this, I don't care, punch me in the face or something like that. Because I did not want to miss anything, and I didn't. I was dancing the whole time. I feel like the crowd kind of did her dirty. They weren't giving her a lot of energy. And at her other shows, she sang covers of songs, and she probably had it planned before, but we didn't deserve a cover anyway. So anyway, Um, Maggie Rogers, Don't Forget Me. One more thing, like, this album has such a, like, a fall, like, it's like summer, and I feel like it could be, it's versatile. It's like, it could be summer, it could be fall vibes. Obviously, it's got the, like, autumnal, like, orange colors, but it's also got this kind of, like, summer vibe to it that's, like, kind of fun and, like, warm, I guess. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, check this one out for sure. Alright, the next one that I have here is one that, honestly, I don't, oops, it's one that, honestly, I don't really listen to anymore, but, just brought it with me because it's part of my collection. I think this is called Humans by the Gorillaz. I don't even know if it says on here. That's what it's called. And I was obsessed with this also in high school. I listened to this album almost every day. This and the Beach House one I would kind of alternate between, and yeah, I can't really say much about it, just, well, I guess I can, because I just feel like I'll struggle to remember, but this album kind of, obviously the Gorillaz are always kind of like ahead of the curve in terms of what they're doing sonically, and even visually too, what they do with their music videos and is great, and obviously with this album cover is just so captivating, in the backside too. These are two of the members, and the interior also has the other members, I believe. But yeah, they've kind of always been doing cool stuff. I feel like this album was very, like, of the time, very kind of like a revolution, in terms of like what was going on, in the world. So I feel like this album is kind of like a time capsule. I think my favorite songs, I used to listen to Andromeda and Busted in Blue, and there's one with Kali Uchis on it, and I don't remember, I think it's She's My Caller. I used to listen to that a lot. I forgot what her name is, but she's a baddie. But yeah, definitely give this one a look if you like. I don't know how to describe them. I feel like they're maybe electronic. I don't know. I can't even begin to describe it, but pretty cool. So, like I said, I don't really listen to them much more, but nevertheless, it's still a good one. So the next one I have here is, kind of see her coming up. This one is Heard It in a Past Life by Maggie Rogers. I love this album art because you can see kind of, I feel like what she was trying to do here is, like, these are mountains behind her, but obviously it's like a red sheet or something she was holding up or throwing up in the air. Very cool shot here. Obviously it's blue, so there's one draw to this album for me, because that's my favorite color, but I feel like sonically this album does kind of like sound like how I would want to sound if I was music, if that makes sense. This album came out at a time that I really needed it. I was going through a breakup, and I went to see her with a friend that I worked with at the time, and this is before the album even came out, so she basically played her whole album, and some of her ones from now that the light is fading. And yeah, I absolutely needed that concert. It was so fun to be right up in the front of the stage and watch her like spinning around and jamming out. And that was like the first concert I'd gone to since I was like 4, when my mom brought me to a No Doubt concert, because at 4 I was convinced I was gonna marry Gwen Stefani. Now I don't really feel that way, obviously. But Maggie Rogers, this song, or this album has Alaska on it, the song that she's famous for making, basically. Again, another album that it's just way too hard for me to pick a favorite. But if I had to, I'd feel like The Knife is really good. Overnight was one I listened to quite a bit. I think my all-time favorite is Retrograde, though. Off of this album, Retrograde is amazing. Again, album that changed my life, so if you haven't really listened to this one very much, I would definitely give it a shot. It's got all sorts of stuff on it, but I feel like the thing about Maggie Rogers that I like so much is I don't think anyone's making music like her. She always kind of just does her own thing and is making and approaching music in a way that is always like, it's almost completely original. Obviously, I think everything's recycled, but if you want to get the closest to something new, Maggie Rogers is right there. Well, her and Muna, and funny enough, I wouldn't know about Muna if it wasn't for her, because she is a big fan of Muna, and she's the way I found them, so definitely give Maggie a listen. I think that's it for all the Maggie ones that I brought. I might have left her Surrender album in my room, but obviously I still love that one. Just for the sake of brevity. Yeah. So what I have in my hands here is probably one of the best pieces of art ever made. Definitely one of the best albums of all time, I think, almost objectively. They won Best Folk Album a couple years ago when this came out. But really, I mean, I feel like it's hard to debate that this album isn't really a work of art, at the least, you know. But that is Big Thief's Dragon New Warm Mountain. I Believe in You. This is a folk album. It is almost violently folk music. Got this very endearing drawing of a bunch of animals around a fire, little campfire. And this album is one full of songs, and full of songs that I can't pick favorites from either. The ones that I listen to the most are the title track, Dragon New Warm Mountain, but I also listen to Change a lot, and Sparrow, and what's the other one? I think it's No Reason. I listen to No Reason a lot as well. It's time to change the battery again. Oh yeah, definitely check this album out if you like folk music. There's a lot to say about Adrian Linker and the music that they make, and it's also kind of dark in here. Forgot I turned the light off. But yeah, I would definitely recommend listening. Definitely give Dragon New Warm Mountain, I Believe in You, a listen. If you like folk music, if you like you probably don't know who they are if you don't know who Big Thief is. But yeah, I would definitely give this one a shot. I think like a lot of the times we're like kind of forgetting about storytelling in music, and Big Thief is bringing it back. Adrian Lenker is bringing it back. And even you could say Ethel Cain is kind of bringing that back for sure, telling stories. I think I wouldn't label some of their music as folk, but anyway, Big Thief. If you guys like this album, let me know what your favorite songs are. It's very experimental and like, I guess by like today's terms, but not, I don't know, to like classic folk music. Anyway, yeah, Dragon New War Mountain. Anyway, moving on. So the next one I have here is another one that helped me through a breakup. This one is, God, what is it called? I'm trying to remember. So this one's called In the End, It Always Does. So this album, like I said, it got me through a breakup. It has this, obviously, has this kind of circle on it, and there's an arrow pointing there. In this album, they kind of talk about a lot of like cyclical things. I think it's a lot about how things just kind of go back always, you know, you always kind of return to this one space. That's why it's called In the End, It Always Does. So I think it's very thematically interesting as an album, and Muna also kind of helped them write one of their songs. What's it called? Morning Pages is what it's called. I'll kind of go like this so that they're in there as well. But yeah, this one's an amazing one. A lot of kind of like somber moments with some pop moments as well. I've seen them twice in concert, and I'm really sorry. I don't dig them in concert, but I love their music otherwise. They just don't really have any stage presence, and I mean they do, but it's not super dynamic. But you know, God bless them. I love them. They try. I think they're a little bit soiled for me because I saw them live once, and I was pretty close to the front, but their opener, Quinny, was an amazing, like, folk singer, and she just blew them out of the water, and she was just sitting there on a chair, so it was hard to kind of one-up her. She has new music coming out, too, recently, so check out Quinny, Quinnie, Quinny, I think. But anyway, back to this. Japanese House, In the End, It Always Does. Some really awesome songs in here, some good writing, some good lyrics. Some fun songs too. I'd say Morning Pages is probably my favorite. And One for Sorrow, Two for Joni Jones is also another one of my favorites. So go ahead and give this one a try too. I like it, but I can't recommend seeing them live yet. I don't think I don't know if it's really their vibe, but this is the same kind of shade I gave to Clairo. I was throwing some Clairo shade, okay? But to be fair, I love Clairo. I don't think she was meant to be performing in a non-intimate venue, if that makes sense. You've gotta have, like, stage presence, you know? I've said that so many times in this video. Anyway, we're kind of gonna end this video with an iconic one. So, what I have here is Court and Spark by Joni Mitchell. So, be honest, I don't really listen to this particular album too much, but I can't deny it's really good. The title track is probably my favorite. I think also what Joni was doing with album art and stuff back in the day was just really cool too. Yeah, so I love Joni Mitchell. I think a few of my favorite songs of Joni's aren't on this album, but obviously A Case of You is amazing. California, kind of the classics. Cactus Tree is also amazing. I listen to that one quite a bit. But this one's Court and Spark. I got this at a vintage store. Car on a Hill is also really good too. So, give this one a try. Obviously, Joni Mitchell's a legend. I don't really need to say anything about her. But yeah. So I actually have one more album I forgot, and I'm about to pull it up right now. So, this is Aurora's All My Demons Greeting Me as Friends, I think this one's called. Yep. This is another high school Carlo classic. Now guys, I'm gonna do it again. I was listening to Aurora, I think probably like a lot of people were, but when this first came out, this was before Runaway went viral on TikTok. Okay, we're talking 2016. We're talking Carlo was getting his first job, and she held my hand through it. She also held my hand through a breakup. God, I was just getting broken up with. I definitely had more boyfriends than, like, people my age, maybe. I don't know. I had a lot of boyfriends in the past, so that's why. Anyway, Aurora, she really does it. She does it all the time, over and over again. She's amazing. I might put this album down as one of my favorites of all time, if not just like one of the best albums of all time, just because of how timeless it is and how amazing she is, how artistic she is, how talented she is. Not, she's also autistic, but I said artistic, just for clarification. I definitely, this is one, any album that I have the vinyl of, it's gonna be hard for me to pick a favorite on the album, so don't make me choose. I can't. Don't make me drink alone. If you get it, you get it. But, you know, I think if someone had a gun to my head and said, pick your favorite song on the album, I'd probably say, I'd probably say Black Water Lilies, if I had to choose. I've just never heard a song like that. I've never ever, no one's done it again, so, I'd probably have to pick that one. On the cover we have her kind of wrapped up, kind of like in a cocoon, and she's a moth. But yeah, Aurora, All My Demons Greeting Me as Friends. High School Carlo, loved it. But yeah, I would recommend listening if you haven't. I'm an original OG Aurora stan, so check it out if you haven't already. But that is gonna do it for this video, so, because my camera's dying, so, thank you for watching. This video is probably gonna be on the longer end, and I will see you guys next time. Let me know if you listen to these and if you like them.